I don't think you get this assignment if the Cavalcantes were big in Hudson or you grew up in Elizabeth. I think it worked out perfectly that you were a Hudson guy that kind of got the Elizabeth-ishness to it,
Right.
but you weren't like me where they knew my father. You get what I'm saying? So I kind of felt was it a plus that you were born in Hudson to do the Elizabeth thing? I know we're getting super hyper local here for Jersey,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what you're saying. And I thought in the beginning, Tom, that it would be okay.
Yeah.
You know, decabs is not, there's some guys in Bayonne that are decab
Yeah.
guys, and there always were.
Yeah.
No big deal. Like me, I grew up around the Genovese guys, but
Yeah.
decabs, you know, I knew a lot of them, and I arrested some of them along the way. And I sat outside. I did a lot of surveillance in my younger years with the FBI and the task forces in Peterstown and watched these guys. But funny thing was, it bit me right in the butt. As soon as I was into the family, one of the first meetings I did, I went to Bayonne to get drugs, and they brought me right to a guy that I knew, like, you know, I was familiar in that neighborhood. And so I thought, you know, you never know. Murphy's Law, you're going to get bit in the ass. So it almost happened a couple of times. So I had to lay low after a while and be very careful who I was going to meet.
So you started to earn, greed got in the way. They introduce you, you know, you meet Louis the dog, you meet obviously the nephew, Jimmy, and then you meet directly with a capo or, you know, like Charlie Stango, kind of a legend in the area. You know, he felt you out at first. So give me kind of your first meeting with Charlie and how that went.
So I knew Charlie's background. I didn't want anything to do with him because if you really look Charlie up, Charlie was the persona of a captain or even a long time standing mob guy. He was born to the life. He lived the life. He was and he still is the definition of Cosa Nostra. True to form. When you look it up, he didn't care. You know, so I knew his background. I knew he was a capable guy, right? And in that world, a capable guy is someone who's willing to commit the ultimate deed, which he did multiple times. And then when he was getting out, he had just been bumped to captain. So they knew he got out, he was released, he was on parole, and he went right to his meeting and he got his button to be a captain. So he became a captain. And then, right, what does a captain got to do? He's got to earn. So, you know, as soon as he heard his nephew was hooked in with me, he came asking around, but he did it in a weird way. He went to the Gambinos to look at me and asked the Gambinos to vet me out.
But that's where I found interesting. You were also hooked up with the Gambino, Danny Gooms and Nino Molinelli. How did you hook up with those guys?
Yeah, obviously their names have changed. You know, the Bureau wouldn't let me use some of the real names, but yeah, it was all those guys. They hooked me up. So what happened was when Charlie wanted to know, being an old school guy, he wasn't going to meet with me directly. He's too smart. So he went to those guys and said, listen, my nephew is doing something, you know, go look at him and check these guys out. And this is all stuff I found out later from Intel. And, you know, he just watched from afar, watched from the sidelines, checked it out like a scout does, and just watched things unfold, made sure I was good for it. And then when the time came, you know, some things presented themselves to us where it was an introduction to Charlie. And I met him. He called me and his nephew, Jimmy, to a meeting one day. And I didn't think I was going to have anything to do with it. But he said, yeah, my uncle wants to meet you.
Wow.
And we both have to go. And, you know, and at the time he was living in Florida. He was in Jersey. And this is immediately after parole. I have no idea how he pulled this one off. Wow. But he came to Jersey. He met us. And then that was the day he was moving to Nevada. And then he moved and he moved to Henderson. So he met me, he put eyes on me and says, well, you know, nice to meet you, Giovanni. Maybe I'll call you. Maybe I won't.
I won't.
Take it easy. And, you know, some time went by and he watched for a while longer. And then he called, you know, he wanted me to call him on a burner.
So you connect the part I don't get is Brasco after Jack Garcia, right? All these things, right? And follow the organization of Cosa Nostra, right? Why? And Charlie, I think, probably had 5 to 7 made guys reporting to him, I would guess, right? I would think. I mean, I know they have 5. They used to have 7